Hello, and welcome back to day 2 of the Ugly Art Club's 5-minute challenge. I'm having so much fun participating, and today's prompt is Lunar. So my idea with this one, I was thinking about the craters on the moon and how to kind of get that effect. So I'm starting out here. I added some scribbles just to get me going. It gets rid of that blank page fear that kind of sets in when you're starting and you don't know what step to take first. So scribbling on the page allows you to get rid of that fear and just get started. I'm also adding in a bit of collage elements. I love the text look here, and so it's not meant to be anything specific. It just adds another dimension, I think, to not just having that white page. I think that's why when I make my handmade art journals, I don't like to just use all white paper. I like to use all different kinds, and it gives a nice starting point and a nice base. So I found a sponge in my collection. I was looking for, I thought I had one that was more of a natural sponge that had that would give me more of that crater effect, but I'm happy with how this turned out. But I just thought I would use some black gesso here, and it kind of gives a little bit of that appearance on the moon, like that crater experience. So I'm now adding a little bit more collage and deciding kind of where I'm going to be putting that little prompt tag that I cut out, and whether I want to use just the black and white version or the colored version. I'm thinking I'm going to keep this one all black and white. I love the dynamics that you can get just by using black and white. I have this hand-painted fabric that I had made previously, and when I looked at it, I thought it looked perfect, like a moon almost. So I did not make it with the intention of that, but it just fit in perfectly with this prompt. So especially when I'm doing these 5-minute challenges where you're working relatively quickly, it's nice to use some of those materials that you have made already. It makes the process go a lot smoother. And before I even start the timer, I like to think about what materials and supplies I might want to have around me before even getting started. So I collected ahead of time a couple different fabrics. You can see on the left there, I have a few different papers that I could use for collage. I also have my basics. I have black gesso, white gesso, I have my pencil, the China marker, I have my glue stick, things like that. They're within reach, they're really easy, and not only are they within reach, they're within eyesight. So for me, that's a really important thing. A lot of times it's that out of sight, out of mind type of feeling. And so when we can have them within our sight of reference, I find that it's a lot easier to get inspired by those items, to think what to do next. So I think it can go one of two ways when you have the timer set for yourself. You can either kind of freeze and be like, oh no, what do I do now? There's not a lot of time left. Or it can kick you into high gear saying, okay, what can I create in these 5 minutes to get me going quicker, to get me going faster? So I undoubtedly every time will freeze if I don't have supplies already around me. Now, if I think about the prompt a little bit ahead of time, I don't necessarily have a game plan of what the page will look like, but I'll have a few things maybe in mind. Maybe it's the colors that I want to use. Maybe it's the supplies that inspire me. Those are the things that really help me to create faster, I think. Now, fast is not always the goal that we're going for, but of course, in a 5-minute challenge, we're trying to take full advantage of those 5 minutes. So in my mind, it is not cheating to prepare a little bit ahead of time, gather some of those things. So I quick turned and sewed on that little prompt tag there that says Lunar. Within these 5 minutes, I did not stop to show that to you guys, but I just quickly did a little bit of sewing back and forth. Now, I'm really proud of myself. I'm actually sticking within the 5 minutes for this one, and it's kind of amazing all that you can accomplish in that short time frame. Adding in a few final little art marks. I think the white correction pen is the perfect thing to act as just a little bit of a highlight on the page. All right, and my timer is finished. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out, but of course it's black and white, and I'm going to love anything that is black and white. I think you can get so much dimension. All right, so now for my bonus little page that I'm making for this series, I decided instead of putting, day 1 and day 2 next to each other in my journal, I want to put each day with kind of a complementary spread, a more basic version of the spread that just complements the main page. So these are not meant to take a very long time. In fact, my original intention was just to do kind of a repetitive pattern that kind of went away on the first day when I added more abstract into it. So now I'm just kind of going with whatever works, just something that fits in, but definitely something that's simplified. I'm thinking maybe about like the shapes that are in the first spread. Can I bring them onto this complementary page? I'm loving with this stamp. It's not actually a stamp. It's from a spool of thread, I believe. And so I'm just using that as a found stamp. And I love the inconsistencies that it has. I'm just using the lid of the gesso to be my kind of ink pad, which also helps with those inconsistencies. Adding a few little scribbles, I think it just ties it in better with the main spread. So of course, all of those supplies are linked down below. I want to know, are you guys following along? Are you participating in the challenge? Make sure to let me know. And while you're at it, make sure to follow my YouTube channel here so that you'll be notified of new videos. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.